Nope, we're rolling with it. Let's go. Let's go, come on.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tiger's Duck Pond. Today, we're reviewing our first movie on this channel, the cult classic spaghetti western, Django! The 1966 movie made by Sergio Corbucci.
I love his name. It looks like Cobra, but only if you squint your eyes at it.
Starring Franco Nero.
The movie opens up with Django, of course, has the backing track. What's the name of the song again?
It's just main theme.
I think it's just called
It's Django. Well, it's one of the best songs.
It's so good. I listen to it constantly. It starts with him. He's dragging his coffin up the hill. It's coated in this thick like mud and just caked on there.
Yeah, that's like most of the setting for the whole movie is really muddy.
Mud.
Yeah.
Mud is the whole setting of this movie. It's like, where are they at? Are they in a desert? Are they in a town? It's just mud.
But
There's nothing left.
But that opening scene where he's dragging the coffin up the hill with the title playing, that was filmed at the very end of filming. They had they put everything away, like all the sets and stuff. And then Corbucci was like, Nero, can you just drag the coffin up the hill real quick? Just drag it up real quick. Walk slowly, drag it up the hill. So they filmed that real quick and they were done. So it was a last second thing.
I don't
But
blame
it's such an iconic opening.
I've done that with so many things. It's like, oh, we've put everything away. Well, there's one more thing I want to do. And then after that, we get to the scene with he comes down he crests the hill, and he sees a group of, I believe it's the Mexicans first.
Yes, the Mexicans first.
They bring this lady over and they like tie her up, and they say something like, "We know how to deal with your kind," or something like that.
Something like that.
And they start whipping her on the back, and then all of a sudden, the 6 of them drop dead, and Logan and I were like,
"Holy crap!"
We're like, "No way that guy killed all those people."
Yeah, because they all dropped dead at once.
You're just standing there on the hill watching him do it. Oh, there we go.
Oh my god! He got all of them! Oh.
They come down and they killed all the Mexicans, and they're gonna burn her at the stake, I think?
Yeah, they're going to burn her.
They were gonna burn her on a cross. And then Django comes down over the hill.
Pensiamo alla donna adesso.
Non sta bene prendersela con le donne.
Cosa hai detto?
Non importa. Quello che importa è che voi state per morire.
Remember when you said he can kill 4 people with one with a gun like that?
He rescues the lady and they start heading off into town.
Yeah. But Franco Nero, for American audiences or people who more recent times, he was in some other movies he were in was Die Hard 2, John Wick 2. He had a cameo in Django Unchained, and then he was also in Cars 2. How about the movie Cars 2?
Cars 2, the movie that proved that there was a car Jesus and a car Pope. He really likes sequels.
And TSA. But anyways.
He really likes sequels, doesn't he?
At least for American films.
He got burned on the first one. Alright, and then we go into the town. He's bringing the lady along. We get into town and we find that he stops at, I think it's a brothel, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it's not a brothel, it's something of the like. It has 4 other ladies there.
Yeah, because it's a bar with...
It's a bar with hookers.
And that's the only shop open, because it's a ghost town.
It's a ghost town because the Mexicans and Jackson's men have been fighting. And this is kind of like the center post for where all of this They say a little later that it's neutral ground, that neither party will fight each other on this territory, and they constantly come in and they
Do
have
their business.
intercourse with the ladies. And we find out that the lady that Django has brought with him is prostitute that ran off to the Mexicans.
Yeah.
And then when we had come into the story, she was escaping from them. He gets all the people together, and they're all downstairs, and they have a talking scene describing everything going on. And then we cut to Django, I think, is just sitting there playing cards. I believe we get the scene first of Jackson's men
Killing the Mexicans.
Yeah, so Jackson's men have a bunch of the Mexicans round up, and essentially they like whip one of them, and then they take off into the valley, and it shows Jackson just gunning down the men.
Yeah, shooting them for sport, basically.
Yeah, and that's where I meet Ringo, one of the Beatles. No, but there's a character named Ringo who is one of my favorite characters because in the very next scene they all go and threaten Django, and Django kills all of them except for Jackson. So Ringo immediately shows up, is immediately introduced as a villain, and then immediately killed.
It's so good.
He's just like, I'm gonna kill. Boo!
And unlike a Marvel movie, he doesn't come back.
He doesn't come back. There's no multiverse bullshit.
Funny thing about Nero, who plays Django, he wasn't originally supposed to play Django. It was supposed to be Mark Damon, which he wasn't able to do it because of scheduling issues, because he was in the middle of shooting, what was it? Ringo and His Golden Gun.
Isn't that the N64 game?
Oh yeah, the one James Bond is based off of.
Yeah. James Bond is based off of an N64 game.
The Bond's name. James' name. Ah, please to... What? Bond names? The James. Are you alright? James Non's having a stroke. Call the Bond lads.
But yeah.
Sir, how'd you come up with this $1 million series? Oh, I used to play the N64 game. That's what they did with
before it was even invented.
But
back to Matt Damon. Oh my God, Matt Damon.
you mean Mark Damon?
Mark Damon is credited as an executive producer for Willy's Wonderland.
What? Really?
Yes!
How do you know? That's one of my favorite movies. Gee golly, you would have thought.
But yeah.
So good. That movie's so good. So after Django guns down all of Jackson's men, he tells Jackson, bring all your men and come back here. He said, come back here and at sunrise, wasn't it?
Just come back here.
Just come back here? Okay. So he gathers up all of his men. All of his beautiful, beautiful men. No, I never retake that one. So after Django guns down all of Jackson's men, he turns to Jackson and says that he won't kill him because he wants a fair fight. So he told Jackson to bring all of his men and come meet him back at the brothel, right?
Yeah, in town.
He's like, you know where to find me. He drags the coffin outside.
We still don't know what's in it.
We still don't know what's in it. Oh, no, wait, he has the scene with the lady's... I can't remember the lady's name. Is it Maria?
I think so.
I believe so. If not, I don't care. I'm calling her Maria. So him and Maria have a scene where she's like... She says something... She doesn't say that she loves him yet. She says something like, why are you doing this? Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, because I want to. He goes out, and one of the greatest scenes of all time happens, which I'm not going to describe. I want Logan to put the clip in
Because our reaction to it was insane.
reaction to it is beautiful.
Django, what do you think about this? Does he still have his blanket? He's got a blanket. You could sleep on that pine wood box.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the comfiest thing, but it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't be the worst, neither. Better than lying in mud. Oh, here they come.
So is this what happened to Mickey Mouse when the Russian military came after him?
Howdy, gentlemen.
Me when I'm in an old-timey face-off?
Me when I'm when
me want give me, you want to give me orange.
I love that they introduced Ringo and set him up to look like he was going to be a villain, and then immediately killed his
him.
ass.
Subverting expectations. One of them.
No, those are supposed to be white hoods. This is culturally all wrong.
One of them just pulls out the gun that Joker had in the Batman movie. The pistol.
Oh.
No, I'm talking about the pistol with the really long barrel. He's like,
Django goes, I'm going to make this pencil disappear.
Django just explodes. He later turned himself into the authorities.
It's blood dance. This guy's
an asshole.
I'm surrounded by assholes. They're just gonna burn the building to the ground. What's in the coffin? Please be a handgun.
What? He just pulls out a Gatling gun.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yes! Yes!
That's awesome!
You called that so
Oh my god! Yes!
Oh my god!
That is so much better than anything I'm freaking out. Oh my god.
After he gets done absolutely gunning down all those little freakazoids, he lets Jackson get away, and then he hides. He's still behind the tree stump, I think, and then he goes back inside.
There.
He just goes back inside and plays cards again.
What's funny is this movie was banned in several countries because it was too violent. Because it's considered one of the most violent spaghetti westerns that have been made since.
Absolutely gun those freakazoids.
And there's
down.
more scenes later on, you'll see why. But yeah, US, UK, several other countries.
There's two scenes I can think of specifically. The gunning down people is a big part of it. And I mean, you have to take into consideration. When was it banned?
It was made in 66.
It was 66. So we didn't have a lot of the, like shooting and stuff like that in movies and stuff. Yeah. So all these gun scenes, I mean, there's almost no blood.
It was ahead
in
of
them.
its time.
Yeah, there's no blood in any of the scenes or anything.
It's just like, oh!
It's like, oh! But it's a lot of killing, so that's a lot of the main stuff. And then there's two scenes that actually do have a lot of blood in them that I think are probably the main reason. I believe it's a little bit of a time jump, and then the Mexicans come through and catch... Oh, I forgot to mention. At the brothel, there is I think he always has like a Bible in his hand, so I assume him a cleric or some sort.
What the kind of spy?
The kind of, the guy that works for Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really a spy. Everybody knows that he works for Jackson.
But he snitches.
So he's the one that snitched originally that Maria was there, which caused the men to come in and attack Django at the beginning.
Yeah.
So he's still there, and the Mexicans come in, and they corner him at the front of the brothel, and they take a knife. Yeah, it's all of them, too. Mm-hmm. And they all just, pin him in this front area.
And then the leader.
The leader. Do we ever... I don't remember his name. I feel so bad because I love this movie. And I like
Yeah.
all the characters, but I don't remember any of their names. So Django. But he cuts off the dude's ear and then feeds it to him, which is the moment where I saw him cut off his ear in our watching of it. I'm like, he's gonna feed him his ear,
And he actually does
and
it.
then he does it.
And they just shoot him immediately. What's funny about that scene is when the Italian censors saw that scene, they told him specifically, take the scene out. So when they went to cut the film, they forgot to take that scene out.
And think about it too, that is a very detailed ear prosthetic, and that was a lot of like blood.
Yeah.
And all those facts are all practical. So the insanity of the practical effect, and then being like, hey, I know you spent a lot of money on the prop and all the practical effects, but you have to take this entire scene out.
It's too violent.
It's too violent. I don't blame them for not taking it out. That scene's so good. It is. In the next scene, we meet the Mexicans. They all come into the brothel, which in the beginning it said that they'll come in, and then Jackson's men, back and forth, will come in. And we find out that Django actually knows the leader of the Mexicans.
Yeah.
He's somebody that Django helped bust out of prison, I think he says.
Did they?
I think
I
he
know they
says.
work for him.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think they work for Django.
No, Django works for him.
No, I think it was just they were buddies.
No, I'm pretty sure they worked with him.
All I know is that he busts him out of prison. He goes, "This is the man who busted me out of prison."
Yes.
But it was like this. This is the man who busted me out of prison. But and then Maria kind of breaks her trust with Django over that, because Django doesn't say anything about knowing the Mexicans are working with him beforehand. So this is when we kind of find that out. And then he starts going, well, I have a little scheme cooked up, Django says. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When they originally showed off this movie in America, they did 4 like short little screenings of it over in Los Angeles.
Of course they did.
And Franco Nero hosted them himself, because it was just a small little shindig. But a few of the people that they had at the screenings that watched it was Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, and Terrence Young were a few of the people that watched it. And they're like, this is a really good movie.
So Django is in the room and he goes, I've got a scheme. They see this machine gun over here. I've got 9 more of them sitting in some supply store. I forget what he said the name of it was. But they're like, Gringo, we don't have any money. And he's like, I've got a plan. There's plenty of money if we all break into this fort and steal all of Jackson's gold. And they're like, you got yourself a deal, partner.
Yeah, because they're trying to get back to Mexico and take their land back.
Yeah. Which is ironic. I think it's the most ironic part of the movie is that the Mexicans are, like, at the beginning are, like, one of the main antagonists. And it's like, we're just trying to get home.
Yeah.
we really don't give a shit about this backwater town. If Jackson would have just given us some gold, we would have left a long time ago, and he would have had this whole place to himself.
Everyone's pretty much like a anti-hero type deal.
Except for
in this movie.
Jackson.
Yeah. He's just a straight up, like,
He's just straight up
a-hole.
asshole. They said he's a Confederate holdout. They break into the fort by disguising Nathaniel. I finally remembered his name. Nathaniel is the guy who runs the brothel, and apparently every so many days he would bring the girls to the fort, and then the men would have their way with them. So Nathaniel pulls up, and there's this whole group of soldiers crowding around the cart like, oh, the girls are here, the girls are here. And then all of a sudden, things go up. She starts gunning them down in droves. what a beautiful movie.
All the Mexicans jump out of the car. They're all gunning everyone
The
down.
Mexicans in Django.
Yeah.
And Nathaniel just dives into the back, just like hands over his head, and like, oh god, what did I do to get into this?
It's so cool because the leader, he's got this big old sombrero. He's got the bullets,
The bandoliers.
yeah, and he's got the 2 revolvers. Like, it's so cool.
He's got the 2 revolvers. Django's got the 2 six irons. Six irons.
Big iron.
He has the 2 full like 6-shot revolvers. And so it's like, and then the Mexican guy's doing it too. There's like 3 other Mexican guys with them. God, I love that. I love that so much.
So good.
And then they run down into this main room where they have all the gold and stuff, and they kill everyone in the room as far as they know. And then they take all the gold and they leave, and then you find out that one person's still alive. Now, also, they take not just gold, which is like gold necklaces, they also take money, like dollar bills.
Yeah, like stacks.
Paper bills, stacks of paper bills.
And you see it go in the
And
bag.
you see it go into the bag, which this is important for later. And then all of it gets dragged back over, thrown into the cart, and then they all
Like
take
it
off.
was nothing.
Yeah.
Like they just carry it like it's nothing.
And then they take off back down the road in the wagon and fight them off, and then you end up back at the brothel again.
Yeah, because, well, they had to get away from Jackson's army because they were following him. They just had to get across the border.
Yeah, they had to get across the border into the neutral territory of the ghost town.
The other thing about the screenings was someone who saw it was Jack Nicholson, and in 1967 he tried to buy the American rights to the movie.
What a smart man.
That obviously didn't go through.
So, they finally get back into town, and Django is with the captain. I think the first thing they do is they put the gold into the room.
Yeah,
So
lock it away.
Django keeps saying, I want my gold. I just want my cut of the gold. That's all I want, and then I'm good. And the other guy's like, look, if you join my army, I'll give you double the gold and make you my general. And he's like, no, I just want the gold, and I just want to go on my way. And he's like, look, we'll lock it up tonight. We'll all have a big party, and we'll discuss it. And then tomorrow, if you still decide on it, I'll give you your gold, and you can be on your
Now
way.
you can set your mind at rest, Django. The gold is
Which,
safe.
When they pour the gold out in the room.
when they pour the gold in the room, there are no bills or necklaces or anything. It is just a pile of gold nuggets.
Yeah, like little. It's not even like big nuggets either. It's like little flakes.
Which is what they put into the bag, but they also put jewelry and dollar bills into the bag.
You can clearly see it.
There's a scene where you watch him take the dollar bills, try to put them in his pocket, doesn't work, and then he puts them into the bag. I don't know, man. But they all have a big party that night, and then somebody gets mad. Are they mad at Django?
Yeah, they're mad at Django.
No, they're mad at the leader. They get mad at the leader, and they try to. One of the men in the Mexican army gets mad at the leader for trusting Django, and
that's what it
tries
was.
to kill the leader and overthrow him. So Django beats the ever-loving shit out of him. And when I say Django knocks this fool around the room, he knocks this fool literally around the room, because it starts at the bar table, goes over to the door, over to the wall, over to the other wall on the other side of the door, and then over to the piano where he finally kills him.
And they did that, I think when I looked it up, they held the camera and just went around the room with it.
That feels like it.
It was really good.
That's a really good one. And it's not like the modern days where it's like, oh, the good guy's just beating the shit out of the other guy. The other guy landed solid punches on him.
Yeah.
And like pulled a knife on him. At the very beginning, Django kicks a gun out of his hand so he doesn't fire at the at the leader of the Mexican army. And then, yeah, he did do something. Django did do something else, because right now he references the line. He goes, "That's the second time you saved my life." So then he goes, "You can have your pick of any of the women." No, he doesn't say that. I think he gives her
Maria.
He gives Maria to Django.
And he's like,
like, "You can have your gold and you can have the girl." And, which is actually really funny because he goes, no, and he takes the
mixed race lady.
Yeah. She's either mixed race or she's Indian. And, like Native American Indian. And takes her upstairs, for what we assume is fornication. AKA sex. But, there's a really funny line that's kind of in the background of the Mexican, like, leader saying to Maria, "Hey, I tried." Because you can tell that Maria likes him. So, the thing is, he's like, "Hey, I tried." He tried. Oh, I remember what it is. He was mad because they were giving the guy who tries to kill the leader was mad because they were giving Maria to Django. That's what it was. He was mad that they were giving Maria away because he's like, "I want Maria."
Because right at the beginning he grabbed her, He was trying to do stuff with her.
He was like, "Look, the cowboy doesn't want you, but I want you, and we all want you." So,
but yeah,
yeah, and then him and I believe the Navajo we think Navajo lady go upstairs to have intercourse, sexual things.
When they were trying to get this movie unbanned from everywhere in the U.S., it didn't get a distributor until 1972, and then in the U.K., it wasn't unbanned until 1993. And in the U.S., it never got a film rating because it just ended up being one of those movies that just didn't get one.
Django unrated.
Yeah. Which nowadays is just adult movies that's like whatever goes pretty much.
Pretty much. I mean, I think nowadays this would probably get like a PG-13 at most, probably.
Yeah, it would be PG-13.
Exclusively because of the gore and the ear scene, and then probably...
Yeah, because there's a lot worse movies that are PG-13, and this is...
Yeah, like
this
Pirates
is pretty
of the Caribbean. That one has ghosts in it.
Ooh,
that is
spooky. But yeah, and then he starts setting up his plan.
He's like, "I don't like these stinky little guys." So Django's like, "I don't like these stinky little guys." And so he takes the lady upstairs and he's like, "Start undressing. Don't pay attention to what I'm doing." And so he starts dragging that coffin up the stairs. And then absolutely Minecraft parkours the shit out of getting that coffin around behind everybody. And sets up his ultimate ruse, which is he breaks into where the gold is kept and sets up his machine gun at the door. I don't know how this works. I'll be honest with you.
He tied a rope to it, so that way when they open the door, it just go...
No.
I think... Or no, it had to do with fire.
He takes the gold out. He takes the machine gun out, and he loads all the gold into the coffin.
Yeah.
And then he takes a rope, and he ties it around the machine gun in a spot that we can't see where it is. So I don't know where it was. And then ties the other end to the explosives, lights the explosives, and sticks it into the wall. And then when the explosives go off, magically it triggers the machine gun to start working. And then Django drags it out the back and throws it into the cart.
Yeah.
And then once he picks it, he throws it into the cart, and he goes to leave, and all of a sudden, I think it's the pump action rifle is placed into his back, and it's Maria, and she's like, "You're taking me with you." And he goes, "Okay."
Yeah. And during the machine gun part, they're all just walking into it because there's only one door. So they just keep walking into it.
Actual hive mentality. Oh, there's a noise. Let me.
It's like Plants vs. Zombies.
Oh, there's a noise. Ah!
And say something about the really bad dub.
Oh yeah, there's like 5 or 6 close-up shots, and there's some here, and there's some. I forgot to say there was some over by when they first all when they're talking about him becoming general. There's some real close-up shots of these people talking, of like just background characters talking, and it's like, wow, that Django, he is really bad. Wow, I really love when I watch Django kill all those bad guys.
It's not like they didn't have an excuse to make a good dub, because this was dubbed in 2012, because Django Unchained was coming out. So they released a dubbed and subbed version alongside Django Unchained, but there's very specific parts where you can really tell.
Oh my god! There's scenes with close-ups of Jackson too, a little earlier in the film that you can see it. If you're looking for it, you see it. If you're not looking for it, there are still a few scenes where you see it and then you start looking for it.
Yeah.
This movie is so much more funny when you watch it knowing it's in Italian and was dubbed in English, because then you're constantly looking for all the little things. So, like half the lines you see like people start talking like a split second before you actually hear their voice.
Django's voice actor, because he doesn't have that deep of a voice, the real actor. So when they dubbed it, they're like, his voice isn't deep enough. We need a real deep man's voice to dub this.
Of course.
Because they're like, American audiences, they're not going to like that. We need a deep voice.
Hello, my name is Django. I'm here to kill you all.
I haven't seen the Italian version of it.
I never will, because I have
don't
to imagine that's his voice from now on. So, my name is Django. Django. It's just Django's voice is really high pitched and squeaky. Then we're finally getting close to the ending here. Django loads the coffin up, loads Maria up, and they take off. After Maria kills a few of the Mexican guys with the pump action.
Yeah, because Django is still getting everything loaded up.
It's so good. And then they ride off to just escape town. And then what does he have to? He says he has to take the coffin across the bridge. But
yeah, back where he originally met Maria.
Yeah. No. What was it? No, he's on that side of the bridge. So he's back where he originally met Maria, and there's this bridge that goes over this like pit of quicksand. But he says something like he needs to take the coffin to the other side of the bridge. He says something like, I have to walk the bridge this time, or something like that.
Yeah, because it symbolizes him leaving Django behind so he can be a new man.
Yeah. And so he goes to start walking, and the pump action rifle falls, goes off, and spooks the horse and knocks the coffin down over the edge into the quicksand. And then he tumbles down the cliff too, trying to get to it, and falls into quicksand as well. So Maria's reaching down for him, and then all of a sudden the Mexicans catch up with them. And for the longest time, he's in the quicksand, and the Mexicans rope him and pull him back out.
Yeah.
Maria's sitting there, and then all of a sudden she's like
You couldn't
this?
tell if she was dead or not.
We thought they had shot and killed Maria, and we're like, okay, so that led nowhere. Now Maria's dead, and it's just Django again.
Maria.
Santa Maria. But then they drag him back up, and they go, well, you stole from us, but you don't have the gold anymore because it's in the quicksand. They go, well, we won't kill you because I'll consider this thank you for the second time of you saving my life. And so the one guy, he goes, but we will have to punish you for stealing from us. And then one guy goes up and boom, backhands him with the rifle. It drops into the ground, and then pins his hands down and just starts smashing his hands with the with the butt of the rifle. And you could see, this is the other scene that's like gory. It's pretty gory.
Yeah.
But it like smashes his hands all up. Like there's no skin on him. It's just like looks like it's just covered in like a jelly or a jam or something like that, and like pieces of like flesh on it. And then he uses the butt of the rifle, and then all the other riders come through with their horses and just crush his hands with the horse's hooves.
Yeah.
And then they leave him there to die.
They made over 30 unofficial sequels. So everyone kept using the name Django. They would make like their own spin on it or whatever.
Because it was profitable.
Yeah. But there's over 30 unofficial sequels to this movie. And there's only one that was official, with Franco Nero coming back, called Django Strikes Again. And that's the only one.
That's the only official sequel of the 30
No,
that are
over
made.
30.
Over 30. Then it cuts back to the brothel. Jackson's not there.
Not yet.
And Django comes in through the door, and his hands are all bandaged up, and he's carrying Maria, and he's like, "She has a bullet wound. If you could patch her up, she'll survive." And Nathaniel helps her a little bit. He gets the bullet out, I think.
Yeah.
And then Jackson comes in, so Django has to hide.
No, not yet. Django tells Nathaniel to tell Jackson that he'll be waiting for him at the graveyard.
He'll be waiting for him at the graveyard. And then he goes down to the graveyard. And then Nathaniel's patching up Maria and has to hide her. And then Nathaniel says, "Django's waiting for you down at the graveyard." And then he gets iced.
Yeah. They shoot him several times.
Several times. It's like, bro, why'd you shoot him 6 times? Ran out of bullets. And then they go down, and there's an extended scene of Django, and both his hands are bandaged up. He's been brutally, destroyed his hands. And he's sitting there, and it's him trying to fumble with this gun and prop it up on this cross of this person that he knew that died. He's got it all propped up on this cross. And he's aiming it, drops it, and picks it up again. You see Jackson come up, and he's like, "Better start saying your prayers, boy." And he's like, "I don't hear," and he shoots near him, and he goes, "I don't hear you praying." And he does it again, and he goes, "I still don't hear you praying." And then Django goes, "How about you hear this?" And kills all of the men with his gun and drops Jackson too this time.
Yeah, he finally dies.
And then the credits roll over top of Django walking into the sunset.
Yeah. And that's the end of the movie.
That's good.
It's funny because at the end of the movie, there's over 180 that have been killed in the movie. And Django himself has 79 bodies that he's killed.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Oh, we forgot to talk about the Mexicans got cornered by the remaining force of Jackson's men. They were up in the mountains, and the Mexicans were riding through the pass after they had stomped out Django's ants, and they gunned down the rest of the Mexicans, Jackson's men do.
Yeah, they did.
So, by the end of the movie, the only one that is left is Django.
Yeah.
And Maria. And I guess the
girls left by
the other girls left too, so they survived too. So, out of everybody in the movie, only 6 people lived.
Yeah.
And it was the prostitutes, Maria, and Django. Well, that's that. You have any more thoughts or discussions?
Yeah, it was funny because I had never heard of this movie before. I had rewatched Django Unchained, and I kept listening to the song over and over again. And I saw, because it had the album, like the little cover for the original movie, but I had no idea what it was. I thought it was just like some kind of vintage cover. And then I had watched a short little interview with Quentin Tarantino, because he made Django Unchained. and he talked about this movie. So I was like, shoot, well, I gotta go figure out what this movie is. So that's when I bought the steelbook of this and Django Unchained. And I was like, hey, we should watch this. And we watched it. It's so good. I'm so glad we watched it.
And I haven't seen Django Unchained, so we're going to make a review on that.
Django Unchained is in like my top 10 of favorite movies. It's really good.
All right. Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
I think that's it for me.
I think that's it for me. And if that's it for you, I'm glad we got you to completion. Anyway.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you found this movie interesting, and I very much encourage you to go watch it yourself.
If you can find it. We're not going to tell you where to find it. You have to find it yourself. That's part of the challenge.
But yeah, thank you all for watching. Subscribe, and we will catch y'all later. Bye.
Ka-chow!
You're an idiot.
You said Cars too, so I had to hit him with a ka-chow.